This is WKEF TV, Channel 22. The news starts now. 22 Alive News Nightside with Carl Day, the weather scene forecast with Janet McGill, and sports with Don Brown.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Last year, one Dayton home attracted a lot of police attention because of a murder. Today, that same house was a center of police interest again, but for a different reason. Marla Fry has a story.
An all-day stakeout paid off handsomely for Dayton police detectives this afternoon. They netted approximately a kilo of cocaine at this home on Earlham with a street value of at least $225,000. But more importantly, say police, is the arrest they made in connection with this bust. The suspect, along with another man wanted on a previous charge, were found inside this home. Police believe the arrest of the larger man pictured here could help stem the tide of crack flowing into the city's west side.
The execution of this search warrant, we believe that we have arrested an individual who in fact is responsible for supplying a large quantity of crack to the West Dayton area.
This is a place familiar to Dayton police. They were here last March when a 21-year-old man was gunned down outside of this address in a hail of bullets. Later, the man known as the Buffalo Soldier was convicted for the murder. Chris Malone maintained this was one battle in his self-proclaimed war on drugs. It was after the shooting and accusations that police began to take a closer look at what was going on inside here.
In the past, we had received some complaints, and as you're aware, this was the scene of a homicide several months ago, and basically this individual has been part of an investigation we've been doing.
Thousands of dollars of cash was also confiscated inside the home, as well as weapons, computer equipment, and paraphernalia. Charges against the suspected drug dealer will be filed tomorrow, and police say it's this kind of effort that will help wipe drugs off the streets.
Cocaine comes into the country frequently and in large quantities, and we believe that this will impact the trafficking in the Dayton area for a period of time, and we hope that with further investigative efforts we can start to have a significant impact.
In Dayton, Marla Fry, 22 Alive News Nightside.
Possible changes in the West Carrollton school system have some parents upset. Juliet Peters has that story.
West Carrollton is facing what a lot of school districts are, slumping enrollment and a possible budget deficit. That's why the administration has come up with 4 separate proposals to tackle the problem. First, ask the voters to approve an additional $5.7 million operating levy next February. Second, shift the 9th graders back into high school. Third, move the 6th graders out of the elementary school and into the junior high. And finally, close one of the 5 grade schools. The last proposal is naturally the most controversial, and parents say they're concerned about overcrowding, busing, and a hasty decision by the board.
If they do close an elementary school and decide to bus, whichever one they close is going to overload classrooms in some of the other schools. And if they bus those children and find out 2 years from now that we do have increased elementary school enrollment like they've projected for the next 10 years, have to reopen the school, we'll have a child attending one school now, another school next year, and possibly back to their old school again the year afterwards.
The board says it's been discussing this for a while. In fact, a citizens committee also recommended closing a school. The district says there won't be overcrowding, and as far as busing is concerned,
we bus a lot of children, and the distance to one school or to another is not that great a distance. We're going to be busing children someplace or another.
the school board will vote on the proposed regulations tomorrow night. If they pass, the administration will then begin deciding what school it will close. But if the resolutions fail, it's back to the drawing board. In West Carrollton, Juliet Peters, 22 Alive News, Nightside.
But in Dayton, it is talk of a school opening. Wright State has joined with the Dayton school system to help run Dayton's E.J. Brown Elementary School when it reopens next fall. Wright State's president, Paige Mulholland, sees the school becoming a learning laboratory. And Dayton school superintendent, Dr. Franklin Smith, said a lot of the focus is going to be on the individual student.
It will be one that really will be designed to give students individual attention, and it will be one that will cover the span of maybe a special education program here, an academically talented program here. It will be really just a unique experience for the students that are going to be in this building.
Wright State's education department is going to develop the learning programs. Kroger stores in the Dayton and Cincinnati area are recalling some disposable diapers because of 2 reports of metal shavings being found in them. Kroger's Comfort brand blue waist barrier size small disposable diapers should be returned to any Kroger store for a refund. Now, the 2 reports of metal came from Middletown and Cincinnati. None have come from the Dayton areas yet. Store officials say the incidents should not be termed as product tampering. They're blaming the appearance of metal shavings on a manufacturing problem in their New Jersey plant. Now, again, the recall involves size small Comforts brand diapers only. Well, it looks like environmental concerns are not going to limit the plans for the Trotwood Connector and the Turner Road extension. A final public hearing was tonight, and the consensus was to go ahead with the project. The connector will run between US 35 and Salem Pike. There were some choices to be made by area residents and transportation engineers, like the exact route for the connector. However, tonight, most of the people picked Plan A, which is the fewest displaced businesses and the fewest environmental concerns. Paperwork on that project should begin in the next 6 weeks. It's hoped the work is going to be finished by 1993. So there's a lot of paperwork to be done. And while we were doing that, we were all watching the temperature go this way.
It continues to drop. It's already at the low for the day, and by tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see temperatures in the 40s.
So here we go back to
20s, yeah. 20s are going to be the overnight lows starting not tomorrow night, but it looks like probably by Thursday, and it's going to stay cold probably all the way through the weekend, so get ready. It's going to be a chilly weekend ahead. Tonight's weather scene is brought to you by Voss Chrysler Plymouth. This afternoon, not too bad temperature-wise. We got up to 65 here in Dayton, and the low temperature is our current temperature reading of 52. Records were set in 1958, and in the next year, 1959, that was 9 degrees. We've had 0.11 of an inch of precipitation. That came in the form of rain. Nothing compared to what's going on in the mountains of North Carolina. Almost 4.5 inches of rain today. In Valdosta, Georgia, 2.5 inches of rain. And out in Colorado, they're getting a lot of snow. So I guess we're pretty lucky. As far as the air quality index today, good. It measured out at 29. Well, the cold front very slow moving on off to the east of us. We've still got some cloud cover, especially in the eastern section of the state, but also some partial clearing in the western half of Ohio. A little bit of snow going on off to the west of us across northern Illinois, parts of the western Great Lakes area, basically because of the circulation around this low pressure area. It's well up into Canada, but that circulation picking up some of the moisture from the Great Lakes, and that is giving a lake effect to some of those areas up there. High pressure is right behind this cold front, so it is bringing clearing skies to a large area of the southeastern U.S. and trying to move up across Kentucky and also the tri-state area. So by tomorrow, what we're going to see is partly sunny skies, but it is going to be much colder over the next couple of days. Meanwhile, there will still be some showers and thunderstorms going on in central and southern Florida as this cold front continues to push out into the Atlantic Ocean, but it will be crossing the central portion of Florida. Meanwhile, snow up across Canada associated with the remnants of that storm center as it continues to move to the northeast. Meanwhile, high pressure building across the western U.S., so it looks like it's going to be sunny in the southwest and also for most of the northern, central, and southern plains region. Digital radar tonight across the country indicating some precipitation in Southern California, a little bit of activity in Colorado, and take a look at where that cold front is now. You can see there's quite a bit of shower and thunderstorm activity across Florida, along the coastal areas, and also still in the northeastern states and parts of Ohio, right along the borderline. And as far as our temperatures right now, we're starting to cool down a little bit, especially in the western portion of the viewing area across Indiana, mostly in the 40s there. Still some 50s across Ohio and Kentucky, currently 50 in Cincinnati, 54 in Springfield, and 52 degrees here in Dayton. The relative humidity is currently at 61%. The barometer at 29.87 inches of mercury. It's rising now since that cold front's moved on through. Southwesterly winds at 23 miles per hour. Now we have mostly clear skies. For tonight, it's going to fluctuate as far as cloud cover. Mostly clear right now, but still a good chance of getting some additional cloud cover for tonight. Down to 38 degrees right now at 52. Then for tomorrow, partly sunny skies, much cooler. 44 degrees the afternoon high. Late tomorrow night, though, dropping down into the mid-20s, and then Thursday, partly sunny skies. Sky conditions are going to be great. It's just going to be cold, 40 degrees the high, and the overnight low for a Thursday night down to 24 degrees. Not much change for Friday and Saturday. Both days we're looking for highs in the 40s and those overnight lows in the 20s.
So sweater weather once again.
Coat weather.
Well, that's it. Sweaters and coats and
Right.
boots and hats, and we'll be back after this. The Congressional Committee